the day we met until the day we got married, that's 5.5 weeks. Love in the time of COVID.
Kaya yan. Kaya. Well, I was in a place where I wasn't really walking with the Lord and taking His call seriously. Prior to that, I was already serving, going all out for the Lord. But there were trials and issues that made me say, okay, Lord, wait lang, I'll do my own thing. And then didn't want to do ministry or church stuff. Then, the Lord called my attention. The last two being through the death of my dad and brother. And that really woke me up. After that, it's like me wrestling with God. Parang, okay, now, parang may time to go back. So God initiated that. And God gave me the grace and the strength to respond to Him and say, yes, Lord, okay, I'll come back. And there, I started pursuing the Lord again, reading His Word. And at the same time, I met you.
I was a single mom for 9 years. I met the Lord when I became a single mom. But I was actively serving the Lord in the last 3 years while He was on break. No, that's interesting because when you were on break, that's when I was active in church. So it was very interesting that we never met during those years. Right? We were in different paths in our walk.
Saan ka nagsaserve?
I was serving in the solo parents and the fitness ministry.
When I was in the process of really returning, si Omar, my discipler, was giving me opportunities to serve, allowing me to lead prayers and lead. May worship rin kami sa D group nun so I would sing. So those were opportunities for me to serve within the group, and at the same time, niyaya niya ako yung sa Go Viral. Then when I saw you in the Go Viral, sabi ko, Kins, kamusta na si Tita Bets? Tita Bets matawag ko. Oh, yun. Tapos medyo apprehensive pa siya kasi hindi niya alam yung... Siyempre, wala pa siyang news. Tapos when the coast was clear, yun na, sinetap niya na. Parang, okay, may date na. Go to, basta punta ka na lang.
No, we were introduced in a rotonda. And it's very interesting because our paths would never cross prior. So apparently, there were many times in the past na he saw me, I didn't know about him yet, in school, in church. So parang lumilit yung mundo namin.
Sa book lunch mo?
Sa book lunch, imagine we were in the same place, in the same restaurant. We were on the other ends of the room. He went there to really be introduced to me. But it still didn't happen. But when it was lockdown, that's when the Lord allowed us to meet. That's when the Lord allowed our paths to finally cross in a rotonda where roads really meet. When I first saw him, so we were wearing masks, right? Hindi pa uso yung face shield noon, mask lang. So kita mo yung mata. Mata lang yung nakita ko. Hindi ko pa nga masyado titignan kasi baka sipin niya, type ko siya. Pero I really noticed his eyes kasi he has really smiley eyes. He is just a genuinely happy person. Ang gaan naman ito. I think that's what first struck me the most about him. Ang gaan naman ito. Seemed like a very meek person.
From the day we met, June 14, then to the day that sinagot mo na ako. When I professed my love for you, July 2.
2 weeks after we were introduced, we got together na. Even I was also surprised how fast it was. But I guess in the light of everything that happened before, and in the light of where we were at that time, parang what's the point of delaying when you know enough about this person to proceed, diba, with what's next? And next is really the pursuit of marriage. He was very intentional in getting to know each other. On the same month we got together, nag-book na yan ng premarital counseling sa the group leader niya. And so it was through those sessions that we actually got to know each other more. The first 2 weeks before we got together, we were able to settle and discuss and align the important values. God, family, money. And when we saw that those big rocks were settled, naging peripheral na lang yung mga gano'n, yung mga trivial, which I once thought were necessary for our relationship to take place. How compatible are you? Ganyan. It was, yung compatibility was in the major things, and everything else was just complementary.
Well, the struggle was in the waiting, na parang waiting for the unknown. Kasi for us, we saw that things were moving forward already. Na wala naman kami nakikitang problema with each other, walang red flags. And we were just wondering bakit wala pa yung sa side ni Papa.
Yung susi.
Oo. So, kasi we were doing all the right things naman. All the things in the curriculum. So, bakit wala pa? So, that was the struggle. Na parang, why was there a seeming roadblock when we couldn't figure out why?
It was really a test of our hearts. And when we think about it now, grabe 3 months lang nag-grumble tayo, samantalang others wait for years.
Yeah.
How impatient were we?
Na parang, bilis nang nangyayari lahat. Kailangan mabilis rin yung blessing ng dad. So, parang sinasabi ni God, wait lang. Ako pa rin yung timetable ko pa rin.
And it was so important for us to really know that the blessing is from God. It's not something that I had to manipulate to squeeze out of my dad na parang, Pop, he's like this, to make him earn that blessing, to make us earn that blessing. But God already allowed it to happen, to be given in such a way na we will know it's real from Him.
Time where I was, the period where I was weak, then I hurt you. When I went back to my former sin, I looked at porn, and then I confessed na to God. But then, sabi ko, kailangan ba i-confess to? Hindi pa tayo kasalan. So I was like, I confessed naman to God, so why do I need to tell this to my fiancé? For 2 days, tinago ko. Sumasakit na yung bumbunan. Tapos yun, nag-send ako ng mahabang message. I saw firsthand how I hurt you, and I saw the effects na parang, okay, this is what happens when you sin. Tapos naisip ko rin na, kung gaano kang kaka-hurt nun, what more kay God, di ba? I needed to see it firsthand, because if you're not married yet, and if you're in that sin, you don't get to see the hurt that you cause to other people. I guess if I didn't get that kind of, yung seeing it firsthand, there's a tendency for me to go back. And I asked for forgiveness, and you readily forgave me.
It wasn't also easy. Parang when he confessed about that, of course, my initial reaction was, I was so hurt, I felt betrayed. I felt like delaying the wedding because I couldn't understand why. When you're already in a relationship, why go back to your past when you have someone at present? But just like you, I'm also thankful that God allowed that to happen, because I would not have experienced true forgiveness. That forgiving you is not from me. One thing to know that you had the past in this area. You struggled with that in the past. But it's another thing to experience it at present. So, yeah, I have forgiven you for your past. Wala ako dun eh. Pero yung to forgive you now for that same sin or in the future, I don't think I would have been able to do that apart from God's grace talaga at that moment. And also in the future. How else will I be able to forgive you in the future if I didn't experience that at that moment? So, I knew the way I forgave him then was not of me. Kasi I was too hurt to discuss, to resolve. My tendency is to walk away, and then diyan ka lang. When I'm ready, I'll see if I still want to get back to you. At that moment, God really touched my heart to see him outside of his sin. So how now will I, at that moment, exercise love or show love? And alam mo, talagang grabe yung grace ni God to remind me at that moment of his own love. Na he did not condemn me for my sins. He was compassionate towards me. So, anong karapatan ko to be pointing fingers at this person for his sins? When, as hurt as I was, I also knew in my heart, he did not do that to hurt me. I know that apart from God's love for me and grace at that moment, I would not have been able to forgive him. Kasi hindi ako ganun. Hindi ako naturally quick to forgive na person. But I also had to choose at that moment, saan ba ako magiging bahagi? Sa condemning part or sa consoling part? I see my husband now then struggling because he was so sorrowful, he was so repentant. Who am I to push him away? I guess ultimately in any conflict, especially when you are married, ang goal lagi is how do you restore this person to the Lord? Kay Lord naman una eh. His sin may have been against me, but ultimately he knows it's against the Lord. And what is my part in that? My goal is to help this person. Because if I don't open up myself to listen to him, to be a source of comfort and to exercise compassion, saan pa ito pupunta? Diba? I think early on, I'm thankful that that happened because it allowed us to see now when this happens, what do we do? Where do we go? And we choose to go to the Lord always.
Ako naman, siguro yung isang nahirapan ako was when I opened up my past.
I tend to be very historical. When I get triggered, I do not stop digging until I'm satisfied with the answer. To the point of him trying to run away nga from those memories. Binabalik ko naman.
Because I wasn't even thinking about the past na. Tapos you were asking me details pa to recount.
Yeah.
Ang comment ko, wait, di naman ako ginagaya ito ni Jesus, di ba?
Oo, sabi niya sa akin.
Jesus doesn't even ask me to recount.
Niyok ako. Sabi niya. Because I think there were 2 times then that same thing happened. Same theme. And then, the way he rebukes me kasi he doesn't fight back. It's his gentleness that makes me cringe and soften. Sabi niya, teka lang, di ganyan magmahal si Jesus ha. Parang, oo nga no, parang I don't love like Jesus. When the very reason why I'm so drawn to this person is because he loves me like Jesus. So why will I be condemning when he confesses, when he opens up? Sorry.
Even if I was hurt, wala bang dapat gawin? Oh, yeah, forgive. There was a period ko, parang I feel like I'm not productive, I'm not being able to give as much to the family. How can I fulfill my role as a husband? How can I serve? You know, my wife affirmed me na, you know what, just by being here, spending time with Gami, being present. Yun naman yung prayer niya eh, yung hiningi niya eh, for a dad and a husband. So, yeah, I guess yung choosing to be present, even sa football ni Gami, yeah. Being present in meals, and kasi yun yung kulang for the past year eh, and it's not really the material stuff, diba? That's what you keep on reminding me na, yeah, darating naman yun eh. I mean, but this time, that's what's needed. A dad for Gami, someone who's there, who's present. Kasi for the longest time, yun yung wala. And yun, just conversations and just being there. And, right, not missing the dates, yeah, the monthsary. I was constantly taking out, going out, dinner once a month, at least, diba? Masahe. But she was able to assure me, you know, you're doing well.
Yeah, I also grew up with a dad who did everything to give us a really good life. What I've been praying for is a co-parent with Gami and a leader for our family. And so when he drives us to football, when he can just stay at home and read and study, that's what, 2 hours. Going there, 1 hour there, going home, that's 2 hours. He could have been more productive in what he needs to do. But when he chooses to be with us, that's big for me, yung time na gano'n. Kasi ako lang yung lahat diba? So, when there's someone who'll drive for you, who'll eat with you, who'll bring gummy to... So, I was in a wedding last week. And he dropped me off and went back home to bring gummy to her play date before going to the wedding to join me. And Peter said, nice, no? Someone who is doing that. So there, thanks lang. So it's those small things. It's time. Test yun for me kasi, so every Monday, he goes to work and then he goes back home. So he's tired from work. I'm tired from doing homework also. So I'd rather lay down, put my feet up, relax. He would like to walk. Buong araw na ako nakatayo, gusto ko na humiga. But no, when the husband wants to walk, the wife will walk. So, because that's his love language, it's really time. So I walk with him. So sa gabi, ipindutin niya na yung paa ko kasi masakit na.
Yung pala yun. So,
I think it's really, marriage is a practice of burning talaga our selfishness. Remembering that my time is really not mine. It's really the Lord's. And how do I do that? How do I give that to the Lord? By giving my time to my husband and my daughter, however they'll need me, diba, to assist them. So my time is theirs. I think with any relationship, what will help you have the right perspective and attitude towards those differences, those conflicts, it's remembering, one, that it was God who put you two together. And that two, He has a purpose for bringing you two together.
How do I persevere? First, I just start from the mindset dun sa Ephesians 6 now. You know, husbands, love your wife just as Christ loved the church. And Christ died for the church and will present the bride to Himself holy and blameless. So I start with that na someday, as the husband, I will be accountable to you. I would need to make an account to God regarding you. Did I help you become holy and blameless? Did I disciple you? Did I lead you as the husband? It's my role to help you be more conformed to the image of God.
How do I persevere in love? When I think about my actions, when I fail in being loving in any way, I always have to remind myself, how did I learn Christ? Paano ba niya ako minahal? Paano ba yung natanggap ko sa Kanya? Kasi yun yung basehan ko ng kung paano ko mamahalin yung taong to. And it was never based on how good I was, how kind I was first, how loving I was first to Him, but it was all because He just really loved me. And so give that same love. In persevering in love, it's always only by going back to my first love and how He loved me first.
What's the biggest blessing in marriage? Ang sinasabi ko palagi, having someone to talk to about the Lord. Yung being able to share your greatest treasure with someone. I was listening to a preaching of Tim Keller and his wife. Sabi niya, the loneliest feeling is not that you're alone. It's being with someone and you can't share your treasure with. Kanyari, you're married to someone, tapos iba pala yung treasure niyo. I'm blessed to be able to share who God is, His work, through us and in other people. At the end of the day, pwede tayo magchikahan about God. Yeah.
I thank God for making me a single parent and giving me a fatherless child. Because how else will He create that burden in you for me if I didn't have a partner? So I thank God for giving me a co-parent in raising Gummy and a co-servant for His causes.
The Lord is faithful to finish the work, to continue and finish the work that He started in us. So, you have to believe in that always. Pursue God and be expectant of His work and what He will do in us and through us, in Gummy, and maybe all finish well.
I really thank God for you. God really knows who I need to be with in raising Nami. It can't be anyone else but you. I love you.
Okay.